The 2026 NBA playoffs are currently going on. Round 1 is almost over. And I'm going to be honest, I just started watching right now. For the past half decade, I feel like the NBA regular season has just been not fun to watch at all. The playoffs are when things actually start to get fun. But the weird part is that the NBA isn't really failing, right? Like, they're making more money than they ever have before. I think they just signed this, like, giant media deal. Game 7 of the NBA Finals last year was, like, one of the most viewed of all time. But what the NBA lacks right now is cultural relevancy. It's just the least culturally relevant that I remember it being in my entire lifetime. The money is there, the talent is there. I mean, you have like Luka, SGA, Wemby. I mean, even LeBron is still playing, dude. He's still dropping 30 points a game. I mean, it's kind of crazy. But if you ask most people, is the NBA still fun? I think most people would say no, all right? I would say no. You would say no. If you don't say no, I'm going to have to get a gun and point it at you so you tell the truth, all right? Because I do not believe most people find the regular season fun. And I have 459 subscribers, so my opinion very clearly matters a lot here. The NBA didn't lose talent. It lost that thing that makes it feel relevant in like the middle of October. That's what it lost. Now, I want to be clear about something before we begin, all right? I'm not one of those guys who's going to sit here and be like, oh, the 90s were the best era ever. Jordan would drop 120 points a game if he played right now. I'm not going to make that argument, all right? The old heads have been saying that forever. I don't think they're correct. But the point I am trying to make is that the NBA used to feel like must-see TV. And I don't just mean the NBA Finals, right? I mean just random regular season games. Maybe this is childhood nostalgia. I'm not sure. I mean, Kobe dropped 81 in like a random game. I mean, obviously Bam Adebayo did that too, but does anyone really care? That's exactly my point. No one cares that Bam dropped, what was it, 82 or 83? I don't even remember how many points he scored. I just know it was more than 81. It's not just the stars, right? I know I'm listing Kobe and LeBron as my argument, but like the Detroit Pistons in the early 2000s were like, that team had a personality, you know? Malice in the Palace, they were just punching guys in the audience. Every team was like a character in a TV show. Because like sports at its core is male reality TV. That's what it is. Honestly, even the bad teams were kind of entertaining, right? Like I have memories of like the 7-win Charlotte Bobcats, dude. Who was the worst team this year? I don't even know. The Kings or something? I haven't been paying attention at all. The other thing we had back then, which I think just ended like last year, like 2 years ago, was like you had these studio shows that were actually fun to watch. You had Inside the NBA with like Shaq, Kenny the Jet Smith, Charles Barkley. Now it's all just Stephen A. Smith like attacking Bronny James for some reason and playing solitaire at the NBA Finals. All right, so how did this actually happen, right? The NBA didn't just wake up one day and decide, you know what, we're going to be really boring for all 82 games and we'll get kind of fun towards the end. That's not what happened. It was a slow process. It's kind of like getting fat. You know, I feel like the NBA got fat. It was slender, it was in shape, and then it reached its 30s and it just started gaining weight very slowly. You know, it started eating too much food during the winter. And then the summer rolls around, it's at the beach, and you're like, Jesus Christ, dude, you're disgusting. Please, get on Ozempic or something. This is insane. All right, so here's the first problem I believe in, is that 82 games, honestly, it's just way too long. The NFL, as I said earlier, has 17 games, right? Every single game matters. If you lose like 3 games in a row in the NFL, you're probably finished, dude. You can't do that. You lose Joe Burrow or like Lamar Jackson gets a hamstring injury. The Ravens missed the playoffs. The Bengals missed the playoffs. Like, people wouldn't have predicted that to start the year. Now, because you have such a large sample size of games, a team like the Lakers can like go on a losing streak in November, October. It kind of doesn't matter because they can lock in after the All-Star break. That's a good thing in some ways because, yeah, you're going to get more of the best teams in the playoffs, but then like half the teams in the bottom half are just losing on purpose anyway. So do the wins even mean anything? I have no clue. And I'm not the only one, all right, making this point, right? People online are making this point, but the league is saying this too, all right? I'm not delusional, all right? The league knows that the regular season is boring as crap, dude. They are very aware. Why did they do the NBA Cup? Why? Because they know literally no one cares. Not even the teams care about the regular season, so they invented this thing, which, by the way, full credit, I think that's a good idea. The cup games in the regular season actually do get better ratings, so it is working, but it's kind of like a Band-Aid solution, you know? You can't really make all 82 games feel, like, important if, like, 15 of them are for, like, this kind of side tournament that I feel like most fans still don't care that much about. Now, compare this to the NFL for a second. I think the 2025 NFL season had, like, almost 19 million views per each broadcast window. It was their best season ever, like, actually. Even like Thursday night football, dude. Thursday night. That's not a weekend. People have work the next day. They were getting like 15 million views per Thursday Night Football game, and you know how garbage all those games are, dude. All right, so we talked about how the NFL gets more ratings in the regular season. They make their games feel more important. But here's the other issue, right? The NBA can try to do that, but the other problem they have is that you literally can barely watch any of the games, dude. It's impossible. This one actually drives me insane. So let's say you're an NBA fan, right? Like, I'm a fan of the Bulls. I want to watch the Bulls in the middle of the regular season. What do I do? Well, first I would have to check if it's on like regional network TV, right? Like NBC, ESPN, or whatever. If it's not there, I check League Pass. And on League Pass, it's going to be blacked out for some reason. I don't know why. And I don't have cable because I'm not, a boomer born in 1942. I mean, that's not a boomer, but whatever. You get my point. So now you're either paying for cable that you aren't going to use besides for the NBA, or you're going to have to subscribe to like Peacock, ESPN Plus. It's just too many things. If I want to watch football, I can get an NFL Plus subscription. I can watch Red Zone on my computer or my phone, and I can watch literally every single game, including the Super Bowl. I do not need to get Peacock if I want to watch the NFL. But also, the NFL doesn't really do deals with like cable. Everything's on network TV. They have like CBS, Fox, NBC. You can watch them with just your little antenna, You don't need to pay for cable. The NBA, on the other hand, you probably need to get like TNT, ESPN, NBA TV. Like, they have network stuff. They have like ABC and whatnot, but it's every game is not on there. So basically, if you want to watch the NBA and you want to keep things simple, you have to use like Streamies or like crack streams or something. You have to use illegal streaming, basically, which is what I feel like most people I know do that. I just ratted them out. Feds, please arrest everyone I know. They're all criminals. And everyone watching this, the police are on their way to your house. You've just ratted yourself out. No, but seriously though, like it's the easiest and most efficient way to watch the NBA. They make you want to do it illegally. You know what I mean? Now here's the third problem that I have. Load management, dude. It's killing the entire regular season. If you guys don't know what load management is, that's where a healthy NBA player will not play a game because he's like resting his body for later into the season. Strategically, it makes complete sense. All right, I'm not knocking like the doctors and like the coaches for doing stuff like this, but why would I buy tickets to an NBA game just to have like the best player not even play? Did you know the amount of Bucks games I've been to? It's just one, but did you know the amount of times, just once, that I drove to Milwaukee? I didn't drive, someone else drove, but I sat in the car for a long time and Giannis didn't play. Dude, I had to watch Grayson Allen on the court for like 3 hours. I spent money on that. All right. And they don't tell you in advance, right? You buy the tickets way earlier, and then like 30 minutes before the game, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, Giannis is not playing because, we don't want to waste him. I think earlier this year, the NBA fined like the Jazz and Pacers for sitting like a couple of their players. That's like finding me like 25 cents for something, dude. Like, I'm just going to keep doing it. That's not an inconvenience at all. Start like taking away their draft picks or something. I don't know. Just, you have to do something to actually disincentivize load management. And again, this actually loops back to the first problem, or this, I forgot which one, the first or second, where like the 82 games is kind of the problem here. First of all, like, you can't get every game to feel significant if you have that high of a sample of games. And then at the same time, teams are going to rest their players because they don't want them getting hurt because they're trying too hard in a game that literally doesn't matter. The league is causing its own problems here. Now, here's the fourth problem. All right, tanking. I think Adam Silver like just announced like some kind of new thing where like the worst 3 teams won't get the best picks, which that kind of makes sense because like they'll try and win towards the end of the year and like kind of try and stack some wins, but it also might make like some of the worst teams in the playoffs try and drop down a little bit to get like the highest odds, basically. So I guess we'll see how that works itself out, but at least they're doing something. But honestly, tanking, again, strategically for the coaches and the teams and the GMs, it's a good idea. All right, I wish the Bulls tanked, bro. Every single year they're in the play-in and then they freaking lose, and then they don't get any better because they have like a mediocre draft pick. They don't even draft well when they have a good draft pick, first of all. And so me as a fan, I start rooting for the team to lose. Like, I don't want them to win half the time because I'm like, they're not going to win anything. They might as well just, lose every game and get the best player in the draft. The whole incentive structure for the fans and for the teams is completely backwards, dude. The teams should be incentivized to win. You shouldn't be rewarded for losing, but also you don't want the worst teams to get like bad draft picks because then they're kind of never going to be good. So I don't know how you solve this, all right? I'm just complaining, all right? I'm a guy with 459 subscribers. You want me to solve the NBA? All right, I would have have way more subscribers if I could solve the NBA, all right? Leave me alone, please. Thanks. Unless you want to subscribe, then yeah, do that. Problem number 5. The NBA turns like every star into like this like hated pariah, dude. I feel like this is not mentioned that often, right? Like everyone talks about tanking, everyone talks about 82 games, everyone talks about load management. I probably shouldn't have opened the video with all that. Everyone already clicked off. But seriously, in the NBA, and this is true kind of everything in the internet age, but in the NBA, I feel like it's a worse problem. No one cares about the stars, right? Like LeBron, yeah, but like Jokic, Luka, like I think they're very good, right? I think they're some of the best players in the league. Do they really have super fans? Like I don't think they do. Not like LeBron did. Not like Kobe did. Not like MJ did. Like I feel like everyone hates every player. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you can't criticize stars, right? Obviously you can criticize stars. In fact, you should be criticizing stars. But you can watch like ESPN coverage or like Fox Sports coverage of like NBA players, and no one is kind of ever going to say anything good. SGA shoots too many free throws. He's a terrorist. He's part of Al-Qaeda. That stuff is very funny, but maybe it shouldn't be on ESPN. I don't know. There's actually like a quote of LeBron saying this. He said like the NBA creates this weird energy around players. And maybe if like the most famous basketball player currently in the world tells you that it's not fun being the most famous basketball player in the world, there might be a problem with like the NBA's media coverage. I don't know, whatever. Now, I am aware that like online, everyone's going to be critical of everything. I'm not talking about people online. I find that stuff very funny. I like it. But the problem is like the actual talking heads who work for like mainstream sports news networks. Stephen A. Smith was like trashing Bronny James for literally you have no reason to talk about some role player who's also like a two-way G League player. Obviously, he's LeBron James' son, right? People online are going to talk crap. You can mention it a couple times, but you don't need to spend time on a segment just knocking the guy. You know what I mean? Like when Taylor Swift started dating Travis Kelce, people online thought it was very annoying. I thought it was annoying how every time there's a touchdown, they put her on the screen. So they're basically just conditioning me to be like, you know what? Every time the Chiefs score and I don't like it, I just see Taylor Swift and I start getting mad at her for some reason. But still, the league leaned into it, though. They were putting her on screen. She's on his podcast. They kind of play it up. They're not the ones trashing him. The NFL media isn't trashing Travis Kelce for dating Taylor Swift. That's all the internet people who are allowed to do that. And you have Stephen A. Smith like, you know what? Bronny James should be shot and killed. You know what? I think Bronny James should die. I don't know. I just think it's stupid. And the last problem I'm going to point out, and this is not like a big problem, is I feel like every team plays the same brand of basketball. Like for a while, like when the Warriors started the whole small ball stuff, they were the unique ones, and then everyone started copying them. Small ball is still not a thing, right? Like now you have a lot of big guys like Wemby and Jokic and whatnot. But I feel like the variance in like playing style has really been flattened in the modern NBA. A lot more teams have the exact same playing style because they've optimized this stuff analytically than it was true in the past, right? Like the Steve Nash Suns, Detroit Pistons, the Spurs, the LeBron Cavs, the Bulls, like those teams did not play the same style back then, dude. Every team had a personality type. It was fun. And the way this all ties together is, I think, very important, right? Because these are not isolated problems. These are all kind of conjoined together. Too many games leads to load management. Load management leads to fans not really trusting the product on like a random day in the regular season. And then fans not really trusting the content is going to make them not really want to watch. And then because fans aren't watching in the middle of the regular season, like ESPN needs to get their ratings up, so they're going to lean into controversy and all that stuff. And then we just keep going around and around and around, and no one's ever going to solve any of the problems. I don't know. And that leads me to like the third overarching segment of this video, which is that this is kind of very fixable in a way. Like I'm not saying I'm going to be the one to solve it, but you can see how these problems kind of lean into one another, right? And it feels like the NBA is like not really trying to address it fast enough. Like they are addressing tanking and all that stuff, but they're not like quick. Like it's very bureaucratic and slow. I don't know. So here are my suggestions, my very uneducated 459 subscriber suggestions. Number one, obviously make the games easier to watch. I think they can dictate their own streaming package. I guess they've already signed all these media deals, so maybe there's some like text in the contract that's like, no, you can't put everything on your streaming, but like the NFL does it, so I feel like the NBA should be able to have League Pass be like an actual thing where you can watch historical games, you can watch like games from different camera angles. I don't know, like make the package actually worth buying. And also just stop blacking out local games, dude. Like, if someone wants to watch the Pacers, let them watch the Pacers. Like, having to deal with regional blackouts in the streaming era is literally the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Someone needs to walk up to Adam Silver and give him a firm handshake and tell him this stuff, right? I'm not threatening violence. Like, I'm sure Adam Silver has complained about illegal streaming. Hey, you can solve that by, like, providing something that makes it not worth it to illegal stream. StreamEast and crack streams and all these things, they lag a ton, dude. Just fix the lag, and people will pay, like, I don't know, $100 a year to watch this stuff. That's what the NFL does. I don't know. It works for me. I have NFL Plus. Sponsor, just kidding. I obviously don't have any sponsors. Fix number 2, I would say, is make tanking painful, dude. They've kind of already done this. I was a little late to film this video, but in some sense, I do kind of like I'm sure there's some problems with it, but I do like the new solution. I believe the worst teams get like 5.4% first pick odds, and then like a bunch of teams in the middle get 8.4%. I'm not a league executive, all right? I'm not pretending to have all the answers here. I'm just kind of spitballing, all right? That's what this genre of YouTube does. We pretend we know things, and then we say them out loud, and then we hope people watch the video, and then when they don't, we I don't know, we buy guns and we commit acts of violence in the streets. No, we don't do that. We do not condone that stuff. All right, fix number 3, make the NBA Cup mean something more, all right? I want them to kind of lean into that. I like the idea. It's kind of like what they do in like the Premier League and stuff like that. Like they have a random cup in the middle of the year. I don't know how you're going to get the fans to care about it, but do something is all I'm saying. I feel like the NFL has a version of this with like Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, where you have these like little blips in the regular season where you're like, oh yeah, this game actually matters. Oh yeah, this is the game to watch this week. Have some NBA Cup games littered in, and then have that actually mean something. I don't know if you get like a better draft pick. There's something you can do. I'm kind of sure of it. And at fix number 4, this is going to be very controversial, but let the players have a personality. I feel like there's a lot of players who are very funny and they would be like super entertaining. Like Anthony Edwards, for example, I think is hilarious, but they're almost like neutered in the NBA. Like they don't want them to be themselves because they're like, oh, this is going to hurt advertising. I think Anthony Edwards being extremely funny would not hurt advertising at all, dude. I think more people would want to watch that. Yeah, sure, maybe like Chevy would be like, you know what, we don't want to, I don't know, pay you as much money for an ad. I don't care. Give me Anthony Edwards saying whatever he wants on Snapchat. Just kidding. I don't condone. But you know what I mean. Use the personalities of the players to your advantage is all I'm saying. Let players talk trash. Let them do a bunch of stuff. Don't find them for like insulting the refs all the time, unless obviously it's excessive. And it wasn't always the case that like the players were like punished for like acting out, quote unquote. I mean, you had Allen Iverson, you had Shaq, you had guys like Dennis Rodman, for example. I mean, all these guys were characters. They said wild stuff, and like those clips they still go viral to this day, dude. And the final fix, the 5th fix I would give is that, I mean, this is kind of the most obvious one. I don't think we need 82 games. I'm not sure what the right number is. I know it'll affect legacy, right? Like LeBron's gonna have all the stats forever now, but I don't think you need 82 games. I think it makes the best teams way too predictive, right? Whereas in the NFL, one guy gets injured and the team season is over. That doesn't really happen in the NBA because guys have like quite some time to recover. Sure, it happens every now and then, right? Like Tyrese Halliburton got hurt and got fat, by the way. And then like the Pacers didn't make the playoffs. But in the NFL, like I think Lamar missed what, like 4 weeks or something like that? And they still missed the playoffs because they probably would have won like one extra game if he played and they would have been fine. Plus he had like a lingering hamstring the whole time. I don't know. I'm very much rambling now. Anyway, look, I'm not saying the NBA is dying, right? It's not dying. They still get views. They're still making like a bunch of money. They are a profitable business. So they don't really have the incentive to fix this stuff, but they're losing like cultural relevancy, I guess is my overarching point. Culturally, they matter way less than I remember them ever mattering. As a kid, I mean, I don't know. Again, maybe this is all nostalgia talking. I could be completely wrong, but they have some of the best athletes on the planet. They have good personalities. The sport of basketball is not a boring sport. It's a fun sport, dude. You have like a couple of game 7s that you guys probably watched today that I'm sure went well. I'm kind of recording this before they're on. The NBA could be a lot more culturally relevant than it is right now. They can go back to the glory days, dude. I guess that's all I'm saying, and I would like them to go there because I don't like only caring about football. Anyway, if you watched this video to the end, you're probably one of my loyal 459 subscribers, so I can say whatever I want now. Haha. Anyway, that means I'm going to say nothing. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching.